I decided to visit my wife at her office, where she worked as a CEO. At the front entrance, there was a sign that said, "Authorized personnel only." When I told the security guard that I was the CEO's husband, he laughed. "Sir, I see your husband every day. He is right there, coming out now." So I decided to act like I was confused and play along. The security guard at Meridian Technologies smiled and shook his head when I said I was Lauren's husband. "Sir, I see your husband here every day. There he is now." He pointed toward the glass doors. A man in a dark charcoal suit walked through the lobby. He looked about early 40s, walked with confidence, and wore an expensive watch that caught the afternoon light. He looked like the kind of man who would appear on the cover of a business magazine. "Mr. Sterling," the guard called out. "Your wife is still in her 3 o'clock meeting. She should be done in about 20 minutes. The man, Frank Sterling, according to the name on his badge, nodded and walked toward the elevators. He still had not seen me. I was standing off to the side, holding a takeout bag from Osteria, Lauren's favorite Italian restaurant downtown. My heart felt strange in my chest. It was not racing. It felt like it was stopping and starting again, like a car with a bad engine. 28 years. I had been married to Lauren for 28 years. And now it seemed like she had another husband at work. Frank pressed the elevator button, took out his phone, and started scrolling like nothing in the world was wrong. Everything inside me told me to confront him. I wanted to walk over and ask what he thought he was doing calling himself my wife's husband. I wanted to make a scene. I wanted to demand answers. But I did nothing. Something held me back. Maybe it was the casual way the guard had said it. So relaxed. So sure, as if this was common knowledge. As if everyone knew. Everyone except me. You know what I said to the guard? Try to keep my voice steady. "I think I have the wrong building. I am actually looking for Gerald Pharmaceuticals, not Meridian Tech." The guard frowned. "You said you were Mrs. Sterling's husband." I gave a small laugh. I said I was a friend of the family. Gerald is my name. I must have gotten mixed up. Long day. I forced another laugh that sounded fake even to me. Then I placed a takeout bag on his desk. "Actually, could you please make sure Lauren gets this?" I said. "Just tell her Gerald dropped it off. Family friend." The guard shrugged. "Sure thing." I walked out of the building before my legs gave out under me. I had been married to Lauren since 1996. We met when we were both 23. I had just finished my accounting degree. She was finishing her MBA at Northwestern. She was brilliant and ambitious. She made plans in 5-year blocks and actually hit her goals. I was the steady one, the practical one. I managed our finances, kept the house running, paid the bills, and handled our retirement accounts. Lauren always told me I was her foundation. She said she could take big risks in her career because she knew I would keep everything stable at home. Her career rose fast. She became a director at 30, a vice president at 35, and CEO of Meridian Technologies at 43. The company made software that used artificial intelligence to handle logistics. When she took over, it was a struggling startup. In 8 years, she turned it into a company worth $200 million. I was proud of her. So proud. I supported every late night, every business trip, every weekend she spent reading financial reports instead of having dinner with me. Because when you love someone, you support their dreams. We never had children. Lauren never wanted them. She said kids would ruin her career plan. At first, I was sad, but in time I accepted it. Her career was her baby. I thought I understood that. Now I was sitting in my car in the Meridian Technologies parking lot, holding the steering wheel so tightly my hands hurt, trying to understand what I had just seen. Frank Sterling, Lauren's vice president of operations. I had met him only once, 2 years earlier at a company holiday party. He was tall and charming. Lauren had introduced him as one of my rising stars and spent most of the night talking business with him while I made polite small talk with the other spouses. I had not thought anything of it. Why would I have trusted my wife? But the guard had called him Mr. Sterling. He had said he saw Lauren's husband every day. Not her boyfriend. Not some office fling. Husband. I did not drive home right away. I could not face the empty house. The house I had spent the whole day cleaning. The house where I had cooked Lauren's favorite lasagna for dinner. The house where I had planned to surprise her with tickets to see a show next month for our anniversary. Instead, I drove to a coffee shop a few blocks away and sat in a corner booth with a black coffee I did not drink. At 6:47 in the evening, my phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. "Working late again. Do not wait up. Love you." I stared at the message for a long time. Love you. Did she really love me? Or was I just what the backup plan, the safety net, the man who paid half the mortgage while she lived a second life? I typed a dozen replies and deleted them all. Finally, I wrote, "Okay, there is lasagna in the fridge." 3 little dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "You are the best. See you late tonight." I put my phone face down on the table and tried to breathe. Lauren came home at 11:23 that night. I sat in the living room pretending to read a book. In reality, I had been staring at the same page for 3 hours. "Hey," she said as she dropped her bag by the door. She looked tired. Her hair was a bit messy. Her lipstick had mostly worn off. "How was your day?" I asked. My voice sounded normal. It surprised me. "Exhausting," she said. "Back-to-back meetings all afternoon. Board presentation at 4. Then Frank and I had to review the third quarter projections." She walked toward the kitchen. "Did you say there is lasagna?" "Yes. In the fridge." I listened as she moved around the kitchen. The microwave humming, the refrigerator door opening and closing. All the small sounds of my wife simply existing in our home. Our home. Was it still our home, or was that part of the lie now, too? She came back with a plate of reheated lasagna and sat in the armchair across from me. "This is perfect," she said. "I am starving. I kept my tone casual. I actually stopped by your office today. I brought you lunch from Osteria. She paused with her fork halfway to her mouth. The pause was tiny, just a moment, something most people would not notice. But after 28 years of marriage, I noticed. "You did," she said. I did not get anything. I kept watching her. I gave it to Frank Sterling. I thought he could pass it along. Oh, she took another bite, chewed slowly, swallowed. He did not say anything. Maybe it got lost in all the busyness. It was a crazy day. She sounded completely calm. Not a single crack in her voice. "How is Frank?" I asked. "He seems like a nice guy." "He's great," she said. "Best vice president I have ever worked with. He really understands the vision. We are in sync on almost everything." "In sync? That is good," I said. "It is important to have a strong working relationship." "Absolutely." She smiled at me. The same smile I had fallen in love with 28 years earlier. "Thanks for trying to bring me lunch." "That was kind." "Anytime," I said. We sat there for a while. She ate lasagna. I pretended to read. We looked like a normal married couple on a normal Tuesday night. But nothing was normal anymore. I waited until she was asleep. Lauren always slept deeply. Years of long days and caffeine had trained her to crash hard when she finally lay down. By midnight, she was out. I went to her study. The door was never locked. Why would it be I was her husband? She trusted me. Her laptop was on the desk, closed but not locked. I knew her password. I had known it for years. It was our wedding date. 061596. I opened the laptop. My hand shook a little. I felt like a stranger sneaking around in my own home. Her email inbox was already open. Thousands of messages. I did not know where to start. So I started with her calendar. At first, everything looked normal. Meetings, board calls, conferences. But then I noticed patterns. Dinner with F, 7 in the evening at Il Posto. That was 2 weeks ago. Il Posto was a romantic Italian restaurant in the city. Dim lights, candles, soft piano music. Not the kind of place you take your vice president for a simple business dinner. Weekend retreat, Grand Geneva Resort, scheduled for last month. I looked up the resort. $450 a night for the suites. Lauren had told me it was a women's leadership conference. I pulled up her corporate credit card statements and found the charge for Grand Geneva. 2 rooms were listed at first, both on the company card. Then I saw that 1 room had been canceled. 1 room, 2 people. My stomach dropped. I kept going. I found more dinners, more trips, a pattern that went back almost 3 years. Everything was coded hidden. Business dinners, corporate retreats, team building events. But Frank's name appeared on every single one. I closed the laptop and walked to our bedroom. I stood in the doorway and watched Lauren sleep. She looked peaceful, innocent. I had trusted her completely. I had never questioned her, never doubted her. And she had been lying to me for 3 years. The next morning, I called in sick to work. It was the first sick day I had taken in 6 years. I worked as a senior accountant at Monroe & Associates, a medium-sized firm in the city. It was a good job, stable, a little boring, the kind of job that paid the bills but did not make for exciting stories at parties. Lauren earned 3 times more than I did. I had never resented that. Her success was our success. At least, that was what I had believed. After Lauren left for work that morning, kissing my forehead and telling me to feel better, I started digging for real. I went through every drawer in her study, every file cabinet, every box in her closet. In the back of her jewelry drawer, under a pile of old costume necklaces, I found a key, a plain silver apartment key. No label, but attached to it was a small tag with an address. Harborview Apartments, Unit 214. Harborview was a high-end apartment building in River North. I had driven past it many times. 30 stories, floor-to-ceiling windows. The kind of place where even a small studio cost at least $2,500 a month. I grabbed the key and drove there. Inside the parking garage, the spots were marked with unit numbers. The space for 214 held a black Mercedes GLE, Frank's car. I recognized it from the Meridian parking lot. My hands were shaking again as I took the elevator to the 2nd floor. I walked down the hallway to Unit 214. I put the key in the lock. It fit. The door opened. Inside was a fully furnished apartment. Not a short-term rental. A real home. Hardwood floors. Stylish modern furniture. Fresh flowers on the coffee table. The air smelled like Lauren's perfume. The expensive one she only wore on special occasions. Photos lined the mantel. Lauren and Frank at the beach. At a restaurant. On a hiking trail. In every single picture, Lauren was not wearing her wedding ring. I moved through the apartment in a daze. The kitchen had 2 sets of dishes. 2 coffee mugs on the counter. His and hers. The bedroom made me feel sick. A king-size bed with high-quality sheets. Lauren's clothes hanging in the closet beside Frank's suits. Her shoes neatly lined up next to his. It looked like they had been living together for years. Like they were married. On the dresser, I found a folder labeled Future Plans in Lauren's familiar handwriting. I opened it. Inside were real estate listings. Houses in Evanston, Oak Park, and Wilmette. All in the $800,000 to $1.2 million range. Many of them were circled with notes in the margins. Good schools nearby, close to Frank's parents. Love this kitchen. Under the house listings, there were travel brochures. Santorini, Tokyo, New Zealand. Written beside some of them were phrases like, dream honeymoon. Below, there were legal documents. Notes from divorce consultations dated 18 months earlier. Lauren had met with 3 different divorce lawyers, comparing options. Her notes were cold and strategic, framed as irreconcilable differences. Mention Gerald's lack of ambition and emotional distance. Document times he failed to support my career growth. She was building a legal case against me. There were pages of examples. Times I had supposedly held her back by asking her to skip work events. Times I had been emotionally distant because I did not want to talk about office politics over dinner. Times I had shown lack of ambition by being satisfied with my accounting job. Normal marital disagreements were turned into evidence of my supposed failures. The most recent note was dated 3 weeks earlier. Timeline. File for divorce by January 2025. Finalized by June. Wedding with F by Christmas 2025. She had everything planned. My replacement was already sharing an apartment with her part of the time. Their future house was already being chosen. I was just the obstacle she needed to remove that I took photos of everything with my phone. Every page, every document, every picture. Then I sat down on their couch, in their apartment, in their secret life. I tried to process the fact that my 28-year marriage had been a lie for at least 3 years. I went back to my car and started driving with no destination in mind. I just drove. At 3:47 in the afternoon, my phone rang. Lauren. I let go to voicemail. She called again at 4:15. Then, at 4:32. Then she sent a text. Where are you feeling better? I did not answer. At 6 in the evening, I parked in some random lot and finally listened to her voicemails. Hey honey, just checking in. Hope you're feeling better. Call me when you get this. Gerald, I'm getting worried. You're not answering. Are you okay? Seriously, where are you? I am about to call hospitals. Please call me back. Her voice sounded worried and loving. So real. So sincere. She was good. Very good. I called her back. Oh, thank God, she said as soon as she answered. Where have you been? I was so worried. Just driving around, I said. Needed to clear my head. I am fine. You scared me. Are you coming home? Home? What a joke. Yes, I said. I will be there soon. Good. I'm leaving work early. I will pick up Thai food on the way. Your favorite. My favorite. She still remembered my favorite dishes. She still acted like she cared about the small details. Sounds good, I said. Love you, she said. Yeah, I replied. You too. I hung up before she could hear the break in my voice. That night, we sat at our dining table and ate Thai food. Lauren told me about her day. Some crisis with a client. A difficult board member. The usual corporate problems. I nodded at the right times. I made the usual comments. I played my part as the supportive husband. All while knowing that in a few months she planned to divorce me and marry Frank Sterling. After dinner, she suggested we watch a movie. We sat on the couch together. Her head rested on my shoulder, just like thousands of times before. Now I could smell her expensive perfume, and I knew she had probably worn it to that apartment earlier to be with him. Gerald, she said softly during a quiet moment in the movie. Yeah, I answered. Are we okay? You seem distant. Distant. The word from her legal notes. Part of her story about me. I am fine, I said. Still not feeling great. Okay, she said. She squeezed my hand. Let me know if you need anything that I will. We finished the movie and went to bed. She fell asleep almost instantly, curled on her side. I lay awake until 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, planning what I would do next. The next morning, I called in sick again. Lauren left for work at 7:15, kissed my forehead, and told me to rest. As soon as she left, I went to her study again. I had been an accountant for 22 years. I knew how numbers should look. I knew how to find problems in financial records. Now that I knew something was wrong, the pattern stood out clearly. Our joint checking account showed regular deposits from both our paychecks. Mine was about $6,200 per month after taxes. Lauren's was around $11,000 per month after taxes. Our regular expenses, the mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, and so on came to about $8,500 per month. We should have been saving around $8,700 every month. Over 3 years, that should have added up to more than $300,000. Our savings account had $47,000. Where had the other $250,000 gone? I checked Lauren's personal credit card. She had always said she used it for business costs that would be reimbursed. I started going through the charges. Harbor View Apartments. $3,200 per month in rent. For 3 years. That was over $100,000. Furniture stores. West Elm, Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel. About $24,000. Travel. More than $31,000 in trips and hotels. Restaurants. Many charges at expensive places. She had been paying for her entire secret life with our shared money. My money as well as hers. While I reheated leftovers and drove a 10-year-old car, she had been living a second life with Frank in a luxury apartment paid for with money I had helped earn. I downloaded 3 years of bank statements, credit card records, and investment account transfers. I saved them all in folders. Then I pulled up Meridian Technologies corporate reports. This was where my skills really helped. I knew how to read balance sheets and income statements. I knew how to notice when something did not fit. And when I saw it look bad, Lauren had been quietly changing the structure of the company. She was doing it in a way that positioned Frank as her successor. She had shifted resources into his department. She had given him control of important accounts. She was preparing him for a promotion to Chief Operating Officer, a role that did not yet officially exist. She was building a golden path for him to the top, making herself look like the talented leader who had discovered and trained him. But she had done it by redirecting company resources without proper approval. She had made big financial moves that seemed to benefit her partner more than the shareholders. That was not just unprofessional. It could be corporate misconduct. maybe even fraud. I took screenshots of everything and organized them by date. Then I created a timeline. When I had enough, I called Richard Morrison. Richard was the chairman of the Meridian Technologies board of directors. I had met him twice at company events. He was a retired hedge fund manager in his late 60s. Sharp eyes. Firm handshake. When he answered, I said, "This is Gerald Hartman, Lauren's husband. We met at the holiday party 2 years ago." Of course, he said. "How are you? Is Lauren all right?" "She's fine," I replied. "I am actually calling about some serious concerns I have about the company." There was a pause. "What kind of concerns?" he asked. "The kind that involve unauthorized corporate changes and misuse of company funds," I said. "Could we meet today?" He was silent for a few seconds. "I could do that," he said. "Where?" "I work from home," I said. "I can text you my address." Richard arrived at 2 in the afternoon. He was tall, with silver hair, and wore a suit that probably cost more than my car. I offered him coffee. He accepted. We sat in my living room. The same living room where Lauren and I had watched movies, celebrated anniversaries, and built what I had thought was our shared life. Now I realized it had also been a stage set for her double life. "Show me what you have," he said. I opened my laptop and walked him through everything. The apartment, the pictures, the divorce planning documents, the corporate restructuring. His face grew more serious as I spoke. "Good Lord," he said quietly when I showed him the financial patterns. "She has been redirecting capital budgets without board approval, and almost all of it favors Frank's division. Why would she do that?" I showed him the photos from the apartment. "They are having an affair," I said. "Not just an affair. They are living together part-time. She is planning to divorce me and marry him, and she is preparing him to take over the company after her." Richard stared at the screen. "That is a huge conflict of interest," he said. "She is supposed to protect the shareholders, not her boyfriend. She has a legal duty to the board." He stopped and ran a hand through his hair. "Do you have copies of all this?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "It is all on this drive." I handed him a USB drive. Bank records, company filings, photos, dates, notes. All of it. "I need to call an emergency board meeting," he said. "I thought you might," I replied. He stood up. "Gerald, I am very sorry for what she has done to you personally," he said. "But I also want to thank you. If this had continued much longer, the company could have been badly damaged." "I'm not doing this to get revenge," I said, though that was only partly true. "I am doing it because it is the truth. And I'm tired of pretending I do not see what is right in front of me." Richard shook my hand. "I will be in touch," he said. Lauren came home at 6:15 that evening. Earlier than usual. I was cooking chicken stir-fry. One look at her face told me Richard had already called her and the board. "You bastard," she said, her voice shaking. "You called Richard Morrison. My own husband is trying to ruin my career." I kept stirring the vegetables and did not look at her. "I shared some information. I thought the board should know," I said. "Information," she snapped. "You showed him private photos. You went through my personal files." "Your personal files in our shared apartment," I replied. "Your personal life paid for with our joint bank account." She grabbed my arm and turned me around to face her. "This is different," she said. "This is my professional reputation. And sleeping with your vice president while restructuring the company to benefit him is professional," I asked. Her face went pale. "What do you want?" she whispered. "Money, the house, what?" I shook my head. "I do not want anything from you, Lauren. You started this 3 years ago. I'm just refusing to stay blind while you carry out your plan." "What plan?" she said. I took out my phone and opened the photos from the apartment. The ones of her and Frank. The one in the folder marked future plans. "This plan," I said. "The one where you divorce me by January, marry Frank by Christmas, and move into your dream house in Evanston." She sank down into a kitchen chair. "How did you?" she began. "I found the key to your other life," I said. "Gerald," she said softly. 28 years, Lauren," I said. "I supported every choice you made. Every late night. Every business trip. Every moment you put your career first. I did it because I loved you. Because I believed we were building a life together." "We were," she said. "No," I answered. "You were building an exit plan. And I was paying for it." She started to cry. Real tears this time. "I'm sorry," she said. "I never wanted it to happen like this." "How did you want it to happen?" I asked. "Will you go to tell me before or after you filed for divorce?" She said nothing. "That is what I thought," I said. I turned off the stove and picked up my car keys. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To a hotel," I said. "I will have divorce papers ready by Monday." "Wait," she said. "There is nothing left to say," I replied. "You made your choice years ago. I'm just finally reacting to it." I filed for divorce that Monday. I hired a family law attorney named Jennifer Kowalski. She had more than 20 years of experience. When she finished reviewing my files, she let out a low whistle. "This is one of the clearest cases of marital misconduct I have ever seen," she said. "A secret apartment, money taken from joint accounts, documents showing she has been planning to leave you for years. You are in a strong position." "I do not care about being in a strong position," I said. "I just want out." "You should care," she replied. "She used marital funds to support an affair. That is financial cheating. Illinois' laws take that seriously." The emergency board meeting at Meridian happened that same afternoon. I was not there, but Richard called me at 5:47. "Frank has been fired effective immediately," he said. "Lauren is on administrative leave. Most of her power has been taken away while we investigate and undo the changes she made. We have hired a forensic accountant to review everything. If we find she broke her duty to the company or committed fraud, she could face more than just losing her job." "She built this house of cards," I said. I just pointed to the wind. Lauren called me that night. I was in a hotel near the airport, eating takeout Chinese food and watching sports with the sound off. "You ruined everything," she said, crying. Frank lost his job. The board is tearing me apart. My career is finished. How could you do this? How could I said calmly? You spent 3 years planning my replacement. You took $250,000 from our joint savings to pay for your affair. You changed your company's finances to help your lover. And you are asking how I could do this. I was going to tell you, she said. When I asked, after you filed for divorce, after you married Frank at Christmas like you planned. There was silence on the line. You knew about that, she said quietly. I know everything I said. The apartment, the lawyers, the timeline, the real estate listings. All of it. Please, she said. We can fix this. I will end things with Frank. We can go to counseling. I will do anything. Frank already lost his job because of you, I said. And now you want to drop him too. At least be consistent about who you betray. That is not fair, she said. Fair, I laughed. The sound was harsh. You want to talk about fair? You spent 28 years building my trust, so you could pull off the perfect betrayal. You wrote down every small argument to use against me in court. You built a legal case while I cooked dinner and did laundry and supported your career. I loved you, she said. No, I said. You love what I gave you. Stability, money, a safe base so you could take big risks. And when you found someone who matched your world better, you started planning to trade me in. It was not like that, she said. It was exactly like that, I replied. And you know what the worst part is? You planned to make me the bad guy. All your notes about my lack of ambition, my emotional distance, my failure to support your career. You were going to leave me and tell everyone it was my fault. She was sobbing now. Please, Gerald, she said. 28 years. That has to mean something. It did, I said. Past tense. You killed it the day you got the key to apartment 214. I hung up. She called back 6 times. I blocked her number. The divorce took 4 months. Lauren fought at first, but Jennifer had been right. The evidence was too strong. I kept the house. She kept her car and what was left of her career. The board investigation found that Lauren had broken her duty to the company by changing things to help her personal partner. She was forced to resign in March 2025. No big severance package. No soft landing. She was simply out. Frank tried to sue Lauren and Meridian Technologies for wrongful termination. The case was dismissed. It turned out that having an affair with your CEO and gaining from unauthorized changes was in fact a good reason to be fired. Last I heard, they broke up 3 months after everything fell apart. Frank blamed Lauren for ruining his career. Lauren blamed Frank for not being worth what she had risked. Neither of them accepted any real responsibility. I sold a house in June. It held too many memories. Too many ghosts. I bought a condo in Lakeview. Smaller. Simpler. Mine. I started dating again in August. Nothing serious at first. Just meeting people. Learning how to trust again. It was slow. My therapist, Dr. Sarah Chun, a clinical psychologist who had been working for many years, told me this was normal. She said betrayal takes time to heal. She said I did not need to rush. I'm not rushing anything anymore. One day at a time. One choice at a time. One honest truth at a time. About 8 months after the divorce was final, I saw Lauren at a grocery store. She was in the produce section looking at vegetables. She looked thinner and tired. Our eyes met. She froze. I gave a small nod and kept walking. She did not follow. For a moment, I wondered if I should feel sorry for her. She had lost her career, her relationship, and her reputation. Then I remembered apartment 214. The folder marked future plans. The careful notes about turning me into the villain. The way she had used my love as a tool. I stopped feeling sorry. I just felt free. 2 years after everything blew up, I received a message on LinkedIn from Frank Sterling. He wrote that he knew I had no reason to speak to him, but he wanted to apologize. He said he had known Lauren was married. He knew what they were doing was wrong. He had told himself the marriage was already over, that they were in love, that their feelings made it right. It did not. He said I deserved better, that the people at Meridian did too. He said he was sorry. I looked at the message for a long time. Then I closed it without replying. Some apologies come too late. Some betrayals do not get forgiven. Sometimes the best answer to someone who helped wreck your life is silence. People sometimes ask if I regret the way I handled everything. They ask if I should have talked to Lauren privately first. If I should have given her a chance to explain before going to the board. My answer is no. She had 3 years to tell the truth. 3 years to end the affair. 3 years to choose our marriage instead of her secret life. She did not choose me. She chose Frank. She chose the apartment. She chose a future without me. I simply made sure the rest of the world finally saw what she had already decided. 3 years after the divorce, I'm sitting in my condo on a Saturday morning. I'm drinking coffee and reading the news. My phone buzzes. A text from my girlfriend, Amy. I met her at a bookstore. She knows my whole story and chose to be with me anyway. Brunch at 11, she writes. I am thinking that French place you like. I smile and text back. Perfect. See you there. I set my phone down and look out the window at Lake Michigan. The water is gray and choppy today. Behind me, my home is quiet. Small. Honest. No hidden apartments. No secret lives. No carefully crafted lies. Just truth. Simple. Sometimes painful, but free. And that is enough. More than enough. It is everything.